Welcome to Good News to Go. I'm Mabel.
And I'm Ren.
And we're bringing you the brightest stories from around the globe.
This week, a groundbreaking antidote for carbon monoxide poisoning.
And Anguilla's AI domain makes the country millions.
Fire deaths are dropping, and what the heck is an odorless mushroom outhouse?
Plus, scientists found evidence of a plant-eating crocodile. 5 fast, feel-good stories. Today, we've got a wild story for you straight out of the Caribbean that mixes tech, domain names, and surprise national revenue.
I love unexpected money. So, the tiny British overseas territory of Anguilla, which is only about 15 square miles, was assigned the country code domain of .ai back in the 1980s, way before AI was remotely a thing.
It was given .ai the same way that the US got like .us or the UK got .uk. But now with the explosion of companies obviously wanting .ai for AI, like artificial intelligence startups, Anguilla is really cashing in. Last year, they brought in about $35 million from selling the rights to registered .ai domains.
That's crazy. I guess it gets better too because these domain sales now make up over 20% of the island's national revenue.
That's so much.
Because they charge about $140 for a 2-year registration, and about 90% of the applicants renewed.
And it looks like they've got about 600,000 registered domains under .ai at this point. And estimates suggest that revenue could exceed $54 million by 2027.
Oh my gosh, that's literally as much of an export as fish and tourism. I apologize in advance for this introduction. There's really no other way to tee this story up, but we have a really neat story for you. It's eco-friendly, kind of wild, and yes, it involves a toilet.
So over at the University of British Columbia's Botanical Garden, scientists developed a new composting bathroom called the Miso toilet, and it's waterless, it splits liquids and solids and uses mushrooms to break down the solid waste.
So the solid waste goes into a compartment lined with fungal mycelia, which eliminates about 90% of the odor-causing compounds, so it basically has no smell. And meanwhile, the liquid waste becomes 2,000 liters of liquid fertilizer each year. And the solid side yields about 600 liters of soil annually.
That was a great description. It's just cool that this flips kind of our expectations about waste, because usually human waste is a problem. It's something that you really want to get rid of, but here it becomes a valuable fertilizer. One of the project leads said, waste is a function of our values. If we can recover it, we're adding value back.
Well, fun fact, growing up in Wisconsin, we actually did have an outhouse in the woods near our house, but no one really used it anymore. But sometimes if my brother and I were playing outside and didn't want to go all the way back in, we would just use it.
But you can update it with the mushrooms. Next up, the silent invisible killer known as carbon monoxide just got a potential antidote.
So researchers at the University of Maryland School of Medicine developed an engineered protein-based therapy that acts like a sponge and just soaks up all the CO in the bloodstream.
So carbon monoxide binds to hemoglobin far more strongly than oxygen. So when you inhale carbon monoxide, you're basically blocking your blood's ability to carry oxygen.
Yeah, so with current treatments, what you do is you give patients an oxygen tank with 100% oxygen, and that just flushes the CO hemoglobins out of the bloodstream, but it takes a long time. And sometimes it can take so long that you can't prevent the long-term heart or brain damage that's going to happen anyway.
Well, that's why this new therapy would be so helpful, because it reduces half the CO from blood in less than a minute in the mice test that they did. And compare that to oxygen treatments. Like you said, they take a really long time, usually over an hour, and untreated cases headed towards 5 hours.
I mean, this will have a huge impact. CO poisoning accounts for 50,000 emergency room visits a year, and it causes about 1,500 deaths.
Yeah, so this really opens the possibility of an intravenous antidote that could be given by first responders or in emergency departments.
You know, Mabel, you could say that decreases in deaths from fires are on fire.
Oh,
see what I did?
Yeah.
So deaths from fires from almost all causes in the US have fallen about 2/3 since 1980.
I mean, that's really hopeful. There's a lot of factors that they say point to why. So there have been building code improvements, better product safety standards, and widespread use of smoke alarms and sprinklers that obviously have reduced this.
Yeah, exactly. So homes with smoke detectors are about 60% less likely to have deaths. And then with automatic sprinklers, that goes to even 90% less likely.
Also, I guess back in the day, smoking-related home fires used to be a major problem since everyone was smoking. Like in 1980, there were about 70,000 smoking-related fires, and by 2016, that number dropped to around 16,000.
Wow, that's kind of a massive drop. There's even been a drop in the most common cause of house fires, which is cooking.
So there's a lot of things that have come together. I mean, in 2021, furniture manufacturers started complying with this new federal standard that they had to put like smolder resistant upholstery on their products. So it all comes down to awareness, technology, and regulation just working together to cause this drop. Today, we've got a pretty wild discovery from millions of years ago, a plant-eating crocodile.
Yes, so researchers found the fossil of a tiny crocodile relative in Montana, of all places. I am not even going to try to pronounce the scientific name, but it was nicknamed Elton. So we'll just call it Elton. And its skull is only 1.9 inches long and would have grown to about 3 feet. So it's tiny.
And it actually lived on land, not water, like modern crocodiles. And it likely ate plants and insects, small animals. And it shows that crocodiles were far more ecologically diverse in the past.
And for those of you who know Montana, the fossil was found in the Black Leaf Formation near Dillon, Montana, which is just so far from what we think of as croc territory. And it also teaches us that over time, the croc family tree experimented with all different kinds of lifestyles. So this discovery really adds another branch to that story.
Like when we usually think of a crocodile, we think of these evil, like bloodthirsty swamp monsters. But here's this little land crocodile just like munching on plants millions of years ago.
Aww.
And that's a wrap for this week's Good News to Go. That plant-eating crocodile is really cool.
It was. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss an episode.
See you next week for more Good News to Go.